I think one more song and then we'll get started. Doesn't see it in her line. I want to refresh. One more song and then we'll get going. Sing along. Don't worry about that, Mary Jo. I know, it's so easy. I gotta be moving a little bit. What did it say? It shouldn't be a link, you should just be able to go, right? Yeah. You know, your
I've got some real estate here in my bag. So we bought a pack of cigarettes, and Mrs. Wagner climbed and walked off to look for a man. Laughing on the bus, laughing on the bus, playing games with the faces. She said the man in the gabardine suit was his mind. I said, be careful, his bow tie is really a camera.
Does he see it? Can you see it if you click that link?
Toss me a cigarette, I think there's one in my raincoat. Who smoked the last one an hour ago?
This is the instructions, sharing a live YouTube stream and stuff. I shared the
So we looked at
URL,
the scenery.
social media, yeah, you can
She read a magazine.
see. Yeah, share that link on Facebook
And
too.
the
Let's see what
moon
happens.
rose over an open field. Kathy, I'm lost, I said, though I know she was sleeping. I'm empty and aching, and I don't know why. Counting the cars on the New Jersey Turnpike, they've all come to look for America. All come to look for America. They've all come to look for America.
Good morning, West Hollywood. How are we this morning? Why are we here? Because we love our country. Back in 2017, my sister Debbie and I organized the Rally for Sane and Humane Policies in response to the Trump administration's inhumane and insane actions, like tearing children away from their parents, targeting immigrants, and belittling people of color, LGBTQ people, and women. In 2024, much to our dismay and disgust, this vile person got reelected, even after inciting a violent insurrection, taking classified documents from the White House, being convicted of 34 felony counts, and found guilty of sexual assault and defamation in the E. Jean Carroll case. Unbelievable, right? In Trump's second term, the cruelty and chaos have only escalated. In June of 2025, we organized the first No Kings rally. We thought things couldn't get worse, but they have. Since June, Trump has released his ICE thugs on citizens and vulnerable communities. He's alienated our allies. He's threatened to invade Greenland, interfered with other countries' governments, not because he cares about democracy, but so businesses he profits from can benefit. He's taken away our healthcare for millions of people, shut down research, made us more vulnerable to disease, created an unstable economy, enriched himself, his family, and his friends, and started a war in Iran. And then there's the Epstein files. I don't know about you, but I'm exhausted. Just reading this, I'm exhausted, but not so exhausted that I am willing to give up our freedoms, our constitutional rights, especially our right to vote, and our democracy. So thank you for joining us today. You are what makes West Hollywood a beacon of hope and a place where we all want to be. I want to thank in advance our inspiring speakers, some of whom you will recognize from our June event. I want to thank the City of West Hollywood, my council colleagues, our fabulous city staff, and our public safety partners who keep us safe. Give them a hand, absolutely. Don't be shy, don't start now. I want to thank Indivisible West Hollywood for joining us, volunteering their time for this event and spreading the word. I want to thank Diane Hupke and band members for bringing us together with music. And I want to thank Jim Bar-Weho for donating some water for the speakers. I want to thank my amazing sister, Debbie Meister, for attending all the mobilized meetings and helping to produce this event and keep us on track. Unfortunately, Congressmember Laura Friedman, who was scheduled to be here today, could not make it. She's stuck in DC, where an extremely important vote is happening. So we need her there, we need her voice there. Her voice is our voice. State Assembly Member Rick Chavez-Zabur, who represents the 51st Assembly District, was also unable to join us, but we thank his folks for being here to support us. Before we get to our program, some housekeeping. First, this No Kings rally is a peaceful protest. If anyone, for any reason, becomes disruptive, we will take a pause. We will sit down, and we will wait. If necessary, Debbie and I will sing, and if you've ever heard us sing, you will know that is a fate worse than death. So please, let's celebrate our solidarity and leave this rally knowing that the only disruptor today, and apparently every day, is Donald J. Trump. Again, thank you all for being here, and thank you for your commitment to democracy. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce my co-host, law professor, iconic leader of the LGBTQ community, longtime council member, and the mayor of the city of West Hollywood, John Heilman.
Thank you, Lauren. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the resistance. Thank you to Lauren and her sister Debbie for bringing us all here together. And our entire city council is here. Vice Mayor Danny Hang, Council Member John Erickson, Council Member Chelsea Byers, and we also have three former mayors here. I see Steve Martin in the crowd. Former Mayor Abby Land is here. Former Mayor John Duran is also with us. We also have lots of city commissioners, but I have a couple of disclaimers. Number one, this is not a city-sponsored event. it is a private protest. And number two, I have to say this, I am here only in my capacity as an elected official and not in my capacity as a law school professor. And I have to say that because of the Trump administration's relentless attacks on higher education and academic freedom. Can we go off topic for 1 minute? Yes, on Thursday, the Metro Board approved a K-line extension to West Hollywood. So in the future, we'll be able to get to the Hollywood Bowl, Cedars-Sinai, to Inglewood, to the Grove, and if we have to have another protest, we can all come here on Metro. So thank you to everyone here who's been part of that fight. I really struggled with what to say today. I thought about, maybe I'll talk about their intentional incompetence, right? So putting people like that heroin-using Secretary of Health, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., in charge of our health. Last year, there were 2,200 plus cases of measles, plus 3 deaths, and he is directly responsible for that. And this year, we already have more than 1,500 cases of measles, a disease that was once eradicated in the United States. I could talk about the completely unqualified Fox News commentator, Pete Hegseth. Yeah. And how almost immediately after taking charge, he shared confidential military information on a group chat and thereby endangered our military. And I could talk about that dog killer, Kristi Noem.
Okay, ready?
But fortunately, she's gone. But we'll see her on Fox News, right? And I don't want to talk about that. Everyone knows they're incompetent. It was intentional. We could talk about their fiscal mismanagement, how Trump gave huge tax breaks to the wealthy, unlawfully imposed tariffs that we all now are going to have to pay, and then started a war which has driven up gas prices and caused enormous heartbreak to those who have savings. We could talk about their fiscal mismanagement, but it's really part of the Republican Party playbook. They do this all the time. Tax breaks to the wealthy, invade a country in the Mideast, and then blame the Democrats when the Democrats have to clean up their mess. Nothing new here. I could talk about their relentless attack on the LGBTQ plus community. They've actually erased all references to the LGBT community on every federal website. They've defunded all sorts of programs, HIV prevention programs. They've defunded youth suicide hotlines for the LGBTQ community. They've actually, in one state, passed a bill that would prevent transgender people from using a restroom, any restroom, in public. Exactly, fascist. But nothing new here. And don't let the gay Republicans fool you. The Republican Party hates us. They only like us when they can use us as a wedge issue. I can talk about their corruption, their graft, their grip, their consistent pattern of Trump giving pardons to people who have made large campaign contributions, and dropping enforcement actions against companies that are accused of wrongdoing in exchange for contributions. But let me mention one particularly egregious example of this. The United Arab Emirates. They have been given access to U.S. technology for AI. For what? What have they given us in exchange?
You gotta play.
Yes, pay to play. They have given the personal Trump business, their cryptocurrency business, they have given a $2 billion investment in Trump's private company in order to get U.S. technology. Sound illegal? It is, but no one is holding them accountable. I could also talk about their shameful invasion of U.S. cities under the guise of going after criminal immigrants. But by now, everyone knows that's a complete lie. They goose-stepped their way into our cities and snatched people working at car washes, snatched people working as landscapers. They've targeted people who are almost exclusively brown and black. We know what's going on here. This is just Stephen Miller and Donald Trump's racism on display. Nothing new here. So what do I want to talk about? I don't want to talk about the Trump administration and all his sycophants. I don't want to focus on their evil and mendacity. I want to talk about resilience and hope. Remember, it took 73 years in this country for women to get the right to vote. It took years and years for us to get marriage equality. It took many years for the federal government to even recognize AIDS when all of us in our community were suffering and dying. And remember, our struggle against racism is still not done. It is worth fighting for good things. The struggle may be long, but it is worth it. Despite all our challenges, despite the backsliding, we should have hope. Even the MAGA Republicans now realize they've been sold a load of crap. In November, we are going to take back the House of Representatives. And if all of us do our part and work really hard, we're going to take back the U.S. Senate too. We need to remind everyone throughout this country that no single elected Republican official has consistently stood up to Trump. They all need to be removed from office. And once we have control of the House, we need to immediately hold hearings and document all of their illegality. And we need to hold each and every one of them accountable. If I had my way, we would send them to prison in Sudan and Eswatini, just like they've done to some of our neighbors. If we work together, we can do it. Together we can, and we will take back our country. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for being part of the movement. And you're not done with me yet, because it's my job now to introduce Professor Justin Levitt, Constitutional Law Professor at Loyola. He is a nationally recognized scholar of constitutional law. He served as the White House first senior policy advisor for democracy and voting rights from 2021 to 2022. He previously served as a Deputy Assistant Attorney General in the Civil Rights Division of the United States Department of Justice. And he was primarily responsible for working on voting rights and protections against employment discrimination. He's now back teaching at Loyola, teaching constitutional law, teaching election law, but he is not here as a representative of Loyola Law School. Please join me in welcoming Justin Levitt.
Hello, West Hollywood. No, you wanted me to hear you in Washington, you got to do much better than that. Hello, West Hollywood. That's what I'm talking about. So as you heard, my name is Justin. I got to be with some of you here on a beautiful day last June. Back then I said I teach the Constitution, brought a copy with me again today, all day long. And not just teach it, I've used it as a civil rights lawyer. as an official in the Department of Justice, as an advisor in the White House, most importantly, as a citizen. I keep a copy of the Constitution with me, but I'm not going to talk about the Constitution today, because we've been standing up to kings for far longer than that. I'm going to talk about the Declaration of Independence. Same book, different page. 250 years ago this year, when a bunch of folks stood up and said, in the words of our national poet laureate Dee Snider, "We're not gonna take it." They said, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men, short-sighted, all people are created equal, that they're endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." And when government forgets those principles, when someone calling himself a king engaged in a long train of what they called abuses and usurpations, the people stood up and called it out. They told the world about a list of abuses by this person calling himself a king 250 years ago. They said the following: "He has limited trade with all parts of the world. He has imposed tariffs upon us without our consent. He has ignored the laws we have and refused to approve laws that would benefit us. He has declared judges dependent on his will alone. He has obstructed the administration of justice. He has ignored representative government. He has set up a military out of control. He has interfered with reasonable immigration. He has kept standing armies among us. He has sent swarms of officers to harass our people. And he has protected these troops from punishment when they murder us." 250 years ago. That's a list of abuses. That's not supposed to be a to-do list. But I gotta tell you, 250 years later, an awful lot of that sounds awfully familiar. 250 years ago, we said, our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. A prince whose character is marked by every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to be the ruler of a free people. From time to time, we get called up to stand up and say, we're not gonna take it. We're here now, 250 years later, because we're standing up to say, we're not going to take it. We gotta say it. We gotta say it over and over and louder, because it turns out that we actually have the power to force them to listen. They work for us. That's the way the government's supposed to work. They work for us. And if we don't like how this is working, we get to change who we hire to do the job. We get to elect members of Congress who stand up to people who want to be kings. We get to elect governors who stand up to people who want to be kings. We get to elect state legislators and mayors and vice mayors and council members who stand up to people who want to be kings. And that matters. It matters so much, because we're in charge here. Right now, the president wants you to think that he's in charge. He wants it to be all about him. It's exhausting how much he wants it to be all about him, but it's never been all about him. I'm not up here for him. I'm up here for us. And as someone who works on the election process day after day, all day, every day, I'll tell you something else. The president talks an awful lot about what he wants to do with our elections. We put the president in charge of a lot of stuff, but we have not put him in charge of our elections. He's not in charge of our elections. He's not in charge of our voice. He's not in charge of us. Our elections belong to us. I used to work in the White House, and here's a simple fact. The White House can't shut down elections. The White House can't run elections. The White House can't control elections. Now, I'm a lawyer. A lot of the time, lawyers say the White House can't do something. What they mean is he's legally not allowed. And I know. Sure looks like this president is doing a lot of stuff that he's legally not allowed to do. But when I say the White House can't control elections, I mean something different. I don't mean he's not legally allowed. I mean he actually, really, can't. There is no button he can push. There is no lever he can pull. There's nobody he can order to do the things he wants. The people he's trying to order around, the people who do run our elections, those people don't work for him. They work for us. And when they hear someone they do not work for saying something crazy, you know what they do? They just ignore the crazy. The people who run the elections just ignore the crazy. That's a power we have.
That's right.
The president is trying to sell power he does not possess. He's a salesman. He's trying to sell, and we see through it. He's going to try to convince you that he's changing the rules. We see through it. He's going to try to convince you to stay home. We see through it. He's going to try to convince you to be scared. We see through it. I don't think his sales job is going to work. Are you scared of him, West Hollywood? No! Standing side by side, standing with each other. Are you scared of him, West Hollywood? No! Damn right. Standing up, calling it out. We've had 250 years of practice for this. Democracy is an action verb. It doesn't just happen. It takes work. But there is power in our presence and power in our voice. And today in West Hollywood, we are unmistakably loud. Today, in thousands of cities all across the country, we are unmistakably loud. And we are going to be as loud as it takes for as long as it takes until the people who work for us hear us, until we force them to hear us. We hold these truths to be self-evident. Thank you for being here today and raising your voice.
Thank you, Justin. And now it's my honor to introduce one of my colleagues, Councilmember John Erickson. He started as an intern at West Hollywood, and now he's serving his second term as council member. He has worked for the great organization Planned Parenthood, and he is currently Chief of Staff for the Alliance for a Better Community. Please join me in welcoming Councilmember John Erickson.
Let's give a big shout out to my amazing colleagues, Councilmember Lauren Meister and Mayor John Heilman, everybody. Organizing a march is never easy. Organizing any community event, especially when the sun is this out as it is right now, is never easy. So thank all of you for showing up today. Are you angry? Yes! Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't hear you. Are you angry? I'm mad as hell. I'm mad that my trans brothers and sisters can't get a driver's license in Kansas anymore. I'm mad because immigrants are being stolen from our communities without any legal process. And I'm mad as hell because the rights that so many of us show up and fight for every single day are on the ballot box every single time. How many times have you heard this is the most important election of our lifetime? A lot. And you're going to hear it again. What are you doing on June 2nd? Voting. Some of you just realized when the election is, so that's pretty good. What are you doing on November 3rd? There we go. We all need to take our collective powers and join together. Trump is not bigger than any of us, not with those tiny fucking hands at all. But Trump cannot be bigger than a movement that is as beautiful, big, and as powerful as the movement I am looking out in front of me right now and across thousands of cities throughout the nation. You have an obligation because our democracy is on the line. And we say that because it is true. We see that in the city of West Hollywood. He can come for our federal funding to make sure your apartments are seismically fitted. We're trying to keep you safe, and he's playing with your safety. We're trying to make sure we're doing all that we can to make West Hollywood a trans sanctuary city, a place where renters don't have to worry about corporations that are paying for, frankly, a horrible inauguration ceremony, if you ask me my freaking opinion, but where he is giving power to the wealthy. And you all are the power in this country. It's no longer time to show up. You have to call everyone in every state that you know and make sure that they are getting out there to vote. From school boards to city councils, to your state representatives, to your congresspeople, to your senators. It all matters. Right now, we are fighting like hell to make sure that we can take money away from DHS because we are seeing the terrorization of our immigrant communities, and it's by 4 votes. Everyone, call someone in a state where you do not know someone, sign up, mobilize, and do everything that we can. Everything you can. When we say this is the most important election of our lifetime, it is. It is because guess what? He is going to do everything he can to intimidate every person from not showing up. But I just gotta let you know, we could be at brunch right now, but you're all here. We can go later, don't get me wrong. But I want to thank you all for showing up today to make sure our collective voices are heard in California, all the way to DC. Please join me in saying, ICE out! ICE out! Please join me in saying, no cuts to healthcare! No cuts to healthcare! No cuts to education! No cuts to education! No cuts to housing! And please join me in saying, we are going to show up. Show up. We'll get it. Don't worry. But what are we all going to do on June 2nd? Vote. Everyone, no thrones, no crowns, no kings. Fuck Trump. Fuck ICE. Show up. And now a much more eloquent and amazing council member. Where did Lauren go? She's right behind me. There you go. Lauren.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Erickson. Are we wound up a little bit? I hope so. Diane Hupka and the Sun Canyon Band, give them a hand. Band, come back. We can do this later.
No, well, I can.
Okay, let's go.
Sun Canyon Band to the stage, please.
Yes.
Thank you, Diane Hupke and the Sun Canyon Band. Okay, we need a little break. Okay. Our next speaker is well known for his role as Captain B.J. Honeycutt on the television series MASH. However, Mike Farrell has also been an activist for many political and social causes. He was co-chair of the California Human Rights Watch, on the board of advisors of the original Cult Awareness Network, and past president of Death Penalty Focus. He received PETA's Humanitarian Award in 2001 and narrated a public service campaign for them about animal abuse. He appeared with Jello, obviously Kristi Noem did not see that. He appeared with Jello Biafra and Keith Gordon in the documentary Whose War?, examining the U.S. role in the Iraq War. Please welcome actor and activist Mike Farrell. Thank you so much for being here, Mike Farrell.
Okay. Hello. Can you hear me? Thank you, Council Member Meister, for inviting me back. I'm pleased to be here. I want to thank you, almost all of you, for being here today. It's important that we stand up and declare our opposition to the usurping of power in our country. Our country. We do not need a would-be king. There are no kings in America. We do not accept authoritarian rule, and we will not bow down to those who attempt to force it on us. This is a city known to be open to the LGBTQ plus community and the trans community. Bless you for that. And I thank you. A moment ago, I said thank you to almost all of you. I meant by that, I do not offer a thank you to anyone who might be here, perhaps out of uniform and unmasked, from the Gestapo, also known as ICE, or the Border Patrol, also known as brutes with guns, who might be here spying, looking for decent human beings who are unacceptable to them, who are different. Suspect people because they might be deemed to be potentially illegal because their skin is not satisfactorily white or they speak an accented English. They may also be looking for anyone they decide might be a domestic terrorist because that person may speak words that suggest opposition to the Trump agenda. If you're here in opposition to the Trump agenda, and if that defines you as being domestic terrorist, then you need look no further. I'm standing right here. I was born in South St. Paul, Minnesota. And I can't easily put into words the pride I feel for my friends, my neighbors, and family members who stood up in freezing weather, armed with only whistles and cameras and belief in their own rights, and threw those cowardly, murderous bastards out of their state. My folks brought me here when I was a little kid, and we lived less than a mile from here, at the corner of Rosewood and Almont. I went to West Hollywood School. I grew up in significant part in this park. I played every sport you can imagine, including some we invented. We ran and goofed, played here. A coach from the office over there, what used to be a fence, formed us into a club to keep us off the streets. We went to dances in a building that was, as I remember it, right about where I'm standing now, only lower. And his name, this coach, his name was Marv Bass, a wonderful man. He guided us, he taught us, and he urged us, once we finished school, to be sure to meet at least once a year to stay in touch. A couple of months ago, 14 of us met for our 67th reunion. So it's nice to be back at the West Hollywood Park, and it's great to gather here with you for No King's Day. But I am seriously troubled. As I said here a few months back, I believe Donald Trump is mentally ill, deeply mentally ill. I fear that though he may think he is not actually running our country. He is, with a lot of help from the crooks and fools and self-seekers around him, enriching himself, his family, his friends, and money-hungry collaborators by running the most corrupt administration in American history. He is selling pardons for bribes, hyping cryptocurrency schemes, and peddling gold-plated shoes while he destroys the nation's capital. At the same time, too many of his so-called strategic decisions and choices are, in my view, influenced, if not made, by a man named Stephen Miller. Mr. America is for Americans and Americans only. Or Russell Vogt, a Christian nation promoter and a staff of cabinet of sycophants, self-important clowns, and power-mad fools promoting Project 25 and a very un-Christian Christianizing of America. And now, bowing to pressure from the murderous Saudi leader Mohammed bin Salman and the Israeli architect of the Gaza genocide, Benjamin Netanyahu, he has gotten us into a war that he can't call a war because he didn't have the legal authority to launch a war. So he calls it an excursion, as opposed, I suppose, to an incursion, but says it's not a war to the parents of 170 schoolgirls who we killed, along with God knows how many civilians and thousands of American troops, the troops of ours who have died, and thousands of American troops. Our idiot, hyper-Christian so-called Secretary of War, who prays for violence and asks God to break the teeth of the ungodly, has sent the region he deems filled with the ungodly, thousands of American troops. This horrific onslaught of anti-human ugliness by the constant lying, cheating, stealing, and murdering is showing the rest of the world that America is no longer the land of the free and the home of the brave. No longer the land of human equality, in which everyone, one's age, one's gender, one's sexual orientations, one's race or belief system, is an equal member of the human community and a meaningful citizen. Well, I, for one, don't accept that. I won't let the lying and cheating and posturing and bullying and sneering steal my country. I won't let the profiteers and the bigots and the con artists and the snakes steal the hopes and the dreams and the sense of pride it meant to be a citizen of the United States of America. Unless we are all kings and queens here, there can be no kings in America. God bless you for being here. Thank you for being here. As the man said, get out and vote, vote and vote, and get your friends out to vote. Do not stay home. Vote.
Thank you so much, Mike Farrell. Let's give him a hand. Come on, we want to hear you. Okay, that's better. Now I'd like to introduce our Vice Mayor. Vice Mayor Danny Hang is a Southern California native and the proud son of Chinese Vietnamese refugees who fled the Vietnam War in search of hope, freedom, and the American dream. In his day job for Los Angeles County, Danny helps permanently disabled fire and police responders as well as other county employees. He became active in the West Hollywood community and was elected to the West Hollywood City Council in 2024. Please welcome West Hollywood's Vice Mayor, that's the mayor of Vice, Danny Hang.
Good afternoon, West Hollywood. How are we doing today? It's so good to see all of you here in a city that just doesn't show up. We fucking show out. And today we gather for a simple message: no ICE, no wars, and no kings. Let me hear you. No ICE, no wars, and no kings. Because in this country, we do not have royalty except for drag kings and queens. Because in this country, we don't bow to power. We hold it accountable. And let's be honest, Donald Trump calls it leadership. The rest of us call it chaos. We've seen federal immigration raids tear families apart. We've seen ICE operations rip people out of their homes, their workplaces, their communities, families separated, children left behind, entire communities living in fear. And we all remember that infamous jacket that Melania Trump wore, the one that read from behind, "I don't care." Oh, we remember, bitch. Let me be clear, because we do care. And we're not going to be quiet about it. No ICE tearing families apart. And I want to make this personal for a second. I'm the proud son of Chinese Vietnamese refugees who fled the Vietnam War. My parents fled a war-torn country, not for chaos, but for hope, but for freedom, for opportunity, for the American dream. And let me tell you, that dream does not include ICE. That dream does not include fear. And it definitely doesn't include Donald Trump and his terrible come-over. Because right now, it's getting worse. We're seeing crackdowns expand, not just on our undocumented neighbors of our community, but on people who are here legally and trying to follow the process. Protection stripped away, families living in fear, communities destabilized. That's not public safety, that is cruelty. We're seeing chaos at the highest levels of the government. Political games, government shutdowns, workers going without pay. Donald Trump calls that winning. But out here in the real world, housing is up, grocery costs are up, healthcare is up, families are struggling, people are skipping meals, folks are choosing between groceries and healthcare. Meanwhile, the billionaires are doing just fine. And the rest of us, we're just trying to keep up. And we deserve so much fucking better than that. And let me be clear, that just didn't happen all of a sudden. That was a choice made by the Trump administration. And we're seeing it in healthcare too. We're seeing ideology pushed ahead of medical science. We're seeing decisions about people's bodies, their identities, their care, being made by politicians, including a disgraced Kennedy, and not doctors. And when science is ignored, people get hurt. We're seeing reproductive rights stripped away. People losing control of their own bodies. Politicians making deeply personal decisions that should be between patients and their doctors. That's not fucking freedom. And let's talk about our community, because LGBTQ rights, and especially transgender rights, are under attack. And let me say this loud and clear. In West Hollywood, in America, you belong here. No exceptions, no apologies, and no backing down. And this is where you can be exactly who you are. Being seen, being celebrated, and being ready to vote. Because in West Hollywood, we do not wait for permission. We lead. We're also seeing dangerous decisions that put our service members in harm's way. Without Congress, without accountability. Because no one person should have that kind of power. No kings and no wars. And let's talk about accountability. Because when it comes to the powerful, things get delayed. Things get redacted. They get buried. Yes, I'm talking about the Epstein files. And let me be very clear. This is not about politics. This is about the victims. Victims of abuse. Victims who are silenced. Victims who deserve truth. Victims who deserve justice. And instead of transparency, we see delays. Instead of accountability, we see the protection of the powerful. And people are asking, who's being protected? Because too often, there's one set of rules for the powerful and another for people like you and me. But not here today. Not here today. Because Trump may think the rules don't apply to him, but in this country, they sure fucking do. And let's be honest, Donald Trump makes it about him. His ego, his comb-over, his headlines. Because that's what real leadership actually looks at. And let's just say, Donald Trump wants to act like a king. But this is America, Jack, and we don't have kings here. We have community, we have accountability, and we have democracy. And West Hollywood knows how to stand up. We've always stood up. And we're not stopping now. Because democracy doesn't defend itself. It takes all of us to do it together. Showing up, speaking out, voting, holding power accountable. So let me hear you one more time. No ICE. No ICE. No war. No war. No kings. No kings. Not here. Not here. Not now. Not now. Not ever. Because here in West Hollywood, we believe in something better. We believe in equality. We believe in freedom. We believe in each other. And yes, we believe in little eyeliner too, don't get me wrong. So let's keep showing up. Let's keep fighting. One more time. No ICE. No ICE. No wars. No wars. No kings. No kings. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Now, I'd like to introduce my council colleague, Councilmember Chelsea Byers. Chelsea has long been an advocate for women and girls, the LGBTQ community, and climate action. Elected to the West Hollywood City Council in 2022, Chelsea recently served as the city's mayor. In her professional life, Chelsea is a policy director working for organizations like Welcoming Neighbors Network and Women's Voices Now. Please welcome my council colleague, Chelsea Byers.
Good afternoon, West Hollywood. How's everyone feeling? Woo! It's so nice to spend this beautiful day with you under this amazing big blue sky in this incredible park. I just want to say thank you so much for giving your time. You see the effort that you've all put into being here because it's warm out and you've still stood. You've made these incredible signs. You've gathered with your friend. How many people are out here with a friend or a loved one? You rallied your community to be here. It's so fabulous. How many people let others know that you were going to be spending this Saturday in a park for No Kings? You are all incredible movement builders, and showing up today, being a part of this is just that. We're so thankful. I really want to sort of focus in because so many of the speakers have talked about the horrors that we're up against, and I think we see it every day. We see it anytime we open up our phone screen, we look at the news, we pick up a paper. I think so many people in the regular conversations you're having in your daily life are about how bad it is. But I want to take a minute while we have all of this star power here in the park, each and every one of you who are so committed to a better world, to take a second into yourself to imagine a better world. A world beyond this one. One that has all the housing people need and a safe way to get there. One where our rights, everyone's rights are intact and we all believe and see each other in that dignified place. That place is here in West Hollywood. We've been building it for 42 years. And I think you heard Professor Levitt earlier talk about the power of cities in this moment. We are here in a city park. You've heard from leaders at this local level. It is this local connection that we need to believe in more than ever right now. When I see you all, I want to give you a minute to make more of that connection. You've heard so much from us, but I think it's time that you hear from each other and you take a minute. So take a second and turn to somebody you haven't met here at the park today and introduce yourself. Let them know where you're from and why you came out. Go on, take that minute right now. There's no time like the present to start fostering these deeper relationships.
Hi, you're speaking. I am. What is your name? Renee. I'm sorry. Hi, I'm Diane. Judy. Oh, that's Judy. Hi, Judy. We know each other. Oh, cool. Nice to meet you. You sound really good.
I hope when you leave the park today, you remember more faces than the ones who stood in front of you at this podium. You remember the faces who stood around you, whose hands you shook today. The people whose signs inspired you and you stopped to take a photo with. The stories you heard in between the speeches. That's what I want you to take home from today. Because this power is around you constantly. This power is something you can tap into in the apartment buildings you live in, on the blocks you live in, the organizations or the workplaces you're at. It's all around us constantly. This feeling of connection, of new connection. That's what's going to take us to that better world that we all believe is possible. The reason that we came to this park, right? Woo! We're not people that are throwing in the towel, that are giving up hope. Absolutely not. Am I right?
No!
We are people who are going to take the time to put in the work, to make new connections that build that better world. That's the only way we can get this done, folks. We have June 2nd, we have November 3rd, we have those incredibly important election moments, but we have every single day and every second between that we have to make the absolute most of. And I charge us all with thinking differently than we ever have about what responsibility we have to each other. We've seen examples out of Minneapolis in the face of horrific ICE. We've seen it here in our own city, the way we've rallied together to protect our neighbors in ways that we didn't imagine we would ever have to do in this lifetime, and yet here we are. It's that imagination and that power of connection we have to stay tapped into right now. So much. I thank you all so much for taking a moment to see each other more clearly, to connect more intentionally, and to be with us today in this moment. Danny said, no ICE, no wars, no kings. But I also want us to remember what we're saying yes to, right? So for everyone, hold that vision of a better future in your mind right now. Hold it close and hold it tight. And then on the count of 3, I want everyone to say yes to that world. For 10 plus years now, since those wars in Iraq began, I know so many of us have been screaming no to what we're seeing unfold. But I think the more we start saying yes together to what we're trying to build together, that power is going to become more possible. So if you're with me, hold that vision of a better world, and on the count of 3, I want us all to scream the biggest, loudest yes possible, okay? 1, you got it?
Yeah.
2, 3.
Yes!
You all are so beautiful. Hold on to that power. Hold on to each other. Thank you all so much for being here today.
Woo!
Thank you, Councilmember Byers. All right, we're going to mix it up a little bit, so if anyone has a run of show, don't look at it. Okay. John Duran is a former West Hollywood council member and former mayor. I had the opportunity to serve with him, and I've always been inspired by his ability to rile up a crowd. You know, we're at that hour, that lunch hour, and everyone's getting a little bit tired. Okay. A hallmark of John's career has been his unwavering advocacy for those who have no voice, and he has been a longtime activist for the LGBTQ community. He served as legal counsel for many prominent civil rights groups, including ACT UP and Clean Needles Now. And as a council member, he was also a leader in animal welfare, bringing forward a ban on cat declawing, among other important initiatives, because animals like cricket need a voice too. Please welcome my former council colleague and friend, John Duran.
Thank you, Lauren. All right, it's audience participation time. I want you to think about the year you were born, because I want to do a roll call and figure out who is here. If you were born in the 1960s, shout out, 1960s. If you were born in the 1970s, shout out. If you were born in the 1980s, shout out. If you were born in the 1990s, shout out. If you were born in the 2000s or 2010s, where are you? My generation, if you were born in the 1950s, where are you? If you were born in the 1940s, where are you? And if you were born before the 1940s, God bless you for being here, where are you? What is the point? I refuse to call the man in the White House the president. I refuse to refer to a convicted felon as the president of the United States. I refuse to talk about Donald Trump as much as possible. I want to talk about you and me. Because you and me didn't just get here by accident. We have our experience, we have our strength, we have our hope. Familiar words to those of you in and out of recovery. Experience, strength, and hope. I am wearing the t-shirt of my generation, of the ACT UP generation, who refused to bow down to those in the White House, who refuse to give power over to those who are elected leaders. I wear this t-shirt proudly. It says silence equals death, because we learned a very powerful lesson that if we were silent in the face of oppression and fascism, it would surely mean our deaths. Instead, we showed up, we lay down in the streets, we protested, we acted up, and we changed the world. And so now, here you are. And here we all are in the year 2026. You and I were meant to be here now, at this period in time, to decide whether the American dream persists or whether it is eliminated by those same forces that raise their head every 10 or 20 years. There's nobody coming to save us. There is nobody coming to help us. It is you and me. Do you think Renee Good hesitated before she was executed in the streets of Minneapolis? No, she was out there ready to confront power. Do you think Alex Pretty hesitated for a minute in helping a woman that was being shoved by ICE agents? Or did he show up and give his life? Do you think the Chicago 7 in Vietnam protest days hesitated? Tom Hayden, Jane Fonda, do you think any of them hesitated when they were called upon to protest about the injustice in Vietnam? Do you think Harriet Tubman caught her breath? Do you think Susan B. Anthony, or do you think any of those women that were part of the suffragists hesitated and thought, oh my God, this is going to be inconvenient? No, each generation of Americans has been called upon at a period of time. You and I are here. I know July 4th is just around the corner, and the thought of thinking of Donald Trump putting his face on currency and coin during our 250th year anniversary is so repulsive to me as an American, because he is everything my country does not stand for. But I have to remember, it's not about the convicted felon. It's about you and me, the living, breathing Americans in 2026 who will decide whether America has any meaning moving forward in this year. Yes, we got to vote. Yes, we got to give dollars. Yes, we have to rally and protest. Yes, we have to do all of those things. And I'm going to demand of you and me more than what we're accustomed to giving. This isn't about comfort anymore. It isn't about just doing what we've always done. It's about going that bit further to show that the spirit of 1776 still exists, that it still lives, that it's still relevant. Here we are in West Hollywood Park, but you know what? There are hundreds of thousands marching down Broadway in New York City right now. Let freedom live. In Minneapolis, they're there, and the boss himself is showing up to sing in Minneapolis today, Bruce Springsteen, and they are there. Let freedom ring in Minneapolis, and in San Francisco, and here in Los Angeles, in 32 locations in LA County alone. There are people rallying like we are doing.
Let freedom ring here, and not just here, but in Dallas, in Miami, in Chicago, all over this country, in towns large and small. People are gathering and doing exactly what we're doing. I am not alone. You are not alone. The American spirit lives because we are living, breathing Americans, and our 250th anniversary is about you and me, not about the convicted felon. Let freedom ring. Keep fighting. Act up. Fight back. We're here.
Thank you, John Duran. Our next speaker is a First Amendment and civil rights lawyer and a partner at Davis Wright Tremaine. Adam Seep has defended advocacy organizations, charitable foundations, universities, investigative journalists, and corporate ESG programs against slaps and regulations targeting the First Amendment protected activity. He's also defended organizations like the Southern Poverty Law Center and the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights in voting and civil rights impact litigation. Outside his practice, Adam is a lecturer in law at USC, but he's not here on behalf of USC, where he teaches courses covering the First Amendment and constitutional law. Please welcome Adam Seep.
All right. Well, thank you, Lauren, and thank you, West Hollywood. I want to pick up where John left off, taking us back to 1776. Sorry, I'm a little bit taller, so I'm going to make this mic a little bit taller if I could do it. Okay, folks, you hear me better now? At this very moment, 250 years ago, the men and women who founded our republic were gathered in Philadelphia making plans for independence. What began as a tariff revolt had become a revolution to form a new democratic order, one governed by laws and not kings, by consensus, not force, by reason and not whim, and perhaps most of all, an order united by a common creed, not blood or ancestry. This emerging idea of a creedal America, one based on principle, not parentage, was unique in the world. At the same moment 250 years ago, my family were thousands of miles away from Philadelphia, preparing to observe the Passover, scattered across the thawing steppes of Europe. Persecuted peasants, subject to a czar's imperium. They knew nothing about Britain or America, or King George or Parliament. And yet, at that very moment, the people who were founding this country, an ocean away, were envisioning and imagining the possibility that these oppressed people, my ancestors, your ancestors, all of our ancestors, people who could never become Polish or Russian or French or German or Austrian, could nevertheless become Americans. And that all they had to do was commit themselves to its founding ideals of equal freedom, equal justice, liberty under law. That is the majesty of America and the source of our strength. Not the might of our military, or the obscene and grotesque concentrated wealth of our biggest corporations, but the gravity and the promise of our ideals. And it's those ideals that are at stake today. You see, the malicious and aggrieved insurgents that have captured our government are not merely working to construct a new authoritarian regime that enables the corruption of one president. They intend to reinvent the very idea of what it means to be an American altogether. Just listen to what the Vice President says. We're not a creedal nation, he says. We exist for one people in a specific place. He envisions an America defined by blood and soil, not with liberty and justice for all, But for some, so-called heritage Americans, a privileged group that came here on the right boats at the right time, from the right ports in Europe, it's that dark vision that animates the atrocities we have borne witness in recent weeks. For if your whole concept of justice is based on limiting the rights of a nation to one people, defined to exclude everyone but a privileged few, then it's easy. It's easy if you want to dispossess and kidnap and even murder those of us who are excluded from that people. It's what allows an ICE agent to strip a little boy, not older than my son, a toddler, from the arms of his father. What lets Border Patrol agents sleep at night after they've murdered American citizens in cold blood on the side of a street in Minneapolis. Make no mistake, the spectacle is designed to reinforce this hierarchy of human dignity. It exists to normalize the idea that America belongs only to real Americans, and the rest of us must simply suffer the whims and the malice of those to whom it really belongs. All of this is a test. How far will we let them go? What will we let them get away with? What will we put on the line to fight back and defend our republic from this haunting specter far worse than just tyranny? Over the course of a lifetime, we face only a few moments where the decisions we make and the actions we take have the potential to change the course of our nation's history. This is one of those moments. We are neither condemned to accept and hand to our children the ruins of a fallen republic, nor are we assured that we will have much of a republic left to hand them at all. We exist in this indeterminacy, but what we have is the power to change the course of human events. Because power is not a small man sending even smaller men to terrorize the least among us. Power is not starting an idiotic war to make yourself feel strong. Power is in the street. Power is all of us. Power is millions of Americans from Wyoming to West Hollywood coming together as our founders did 250 years ago in parks and in streets, marching down Broadway to tell the rest of the world that there is still an idea of America that is worth fighting for. There is still an idea of America that is worth sacrificing and pledging ourselves for. An America that is open and confident, generous and reliable, abundant, fair and just, a nation unafraid to welcome newcomers, a nation that is ready to adapt and grow, a nation where all people, no matter what boat you came on, have the freedom to live fulfilling lives of meaning according to their own lights, and with the security to take risks and withstand misfortune. Generations of Americans have time and again given all for an idea of America that follows this creedal conviction. An idea that's still as unique and revolutionary today as it was in 1776. An idea that has inspired millions from my family's to yours to seize and commit to the idea of equal freedom and liberty under law. That is the America at stake, and we are here right now to tell the rest of the world, to tell the people in the White House, to tell the people in Washington, to let the word go forth that we are ready to fight for it again. So I want everybody here to commit to doing everything that they can to organize their neighbors, their families, their offices, people who haven't voted in 10 years, people who haven't donated to campaigns in their entire lives, to get moving and get motivated, because this is what we have before us. This is our moment. This is the question of my generation, of your generation. And for some of you here, it's your time again to make America achieve the promise of its highest ideals. Thank you for having me. Thank you for what you're doing. I'm here with you. We're gonna fight and we're gonna keep America alive. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, who became involved in acting as a child to help her overcome her shyness. And you're not going to believe, because she's not shy now. She got her first big break in the theater. You will recognize her for her role as FBI technical analyst Penelope Garcia on CBS's Criminal Minds, as well as the spin-off Suspect Behavior and Beyond Borders. She describes herself as queer as a purple unicorn singing Madonna. She has used her experiences as an activist on behalf of GLSEN, GLAAD, Human Rights Fund, and the Trevor Project. Please join me in welcoming my friend Kirsten Vangsness.
Okay, so you can decide whether this is a true story. I was on the phone sharing my concerns with my senator. Yeah, and he said he agreed with my concerns and he was trying to fix it. And I said to him on the phone, I said, the trying isn't good enough. I'm really scared. And then my senator, who I think is your senator, says, do you think I'm not doing anything up on the Hill? And I was like, no, I mean, it was really awkward. See, our senator, he picks up my calls. At first I was leaving messages every day, I was using the 5 Calls app and all that, but maybe because I call so much, everyone's been picking up. Everyone in Congress has been picking up my calls. I called the Speaker of the House this morning. I did. I rang Mike Johnson right up, and he was like, Kirsten, and I was like, Mike, and he was like, what do you want? And I was like, do you really believe, Mike Johnson, in God? And is God down with you stone cold lying your face off to the American people? And do you know what Mike Johnson said? Mike Johnson said I was being reactive and I was using a lot of you statements, which was true. So I said, Mike Johnson, when you lie, I feel angry. But he refused to validate my experience, so I hung up on him. And here's the truth, and I'm sharing it with everybody right now. I've been keeping this a secret because I don't think Congress is picking up anyone else's calls but mine. Also, true story, I live with some of the Congress now, like a lot of them. They're living in my house. Not all of them, but a pretty good number. The president has a tent outside of my house because of the defecating and also because he's allergic to cats. At first it was just like, I was talking to them on the phone and then I kept thinking about them. I kept thinking about Congress and what they were doing. And then they just showed up at my door with all their baggage. Do any of you understand how stressful it is to have congressmen living in your house? I mean, sure, you might say to me, Kirsten, it feels like they're living in my house, but I mean it. They're living rent-free in my house. When I got home last night, the president had been inside. I could not only smell him, but he had signed his name on things that didn't belong to him. And then I got a text from Laura Friedman saying she heard from Lindsay Horvath that Cory Booker had let Donald Trump borrow his Paramount Plus password so Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth could watch The Detroiters, which I like and I can't watch because I canceled my Paramount Plus password because of the mergers. And I'm on that network. My relationship with my elected officials, and I think you'll agree with me, it used to be easy. For a long time, a while ago, I had that kind of relationship with government like it was a benevolent daddy. Like I don't have to worry my left-handed little head because the government's gonna do the right thing. I wanted to believe that the government didn't need me watching it to make it act respectfully in my house. But it turns out we do need to be watching. But also, we all know this, right? Relationships are tricky, okay? Like yesterday, the president, who lives in a tent in my backyard, he didn't set his alarm and he missed his Pilates class almost. I'm paying for him to go to Pilates because I think it might help him cognitively. So I go out and I'm like, hey, President Trump, it's 8:30. And he rolls out of his tent and he puts on a suit. Yeah, he wears a suit to Pilates. And I go back inside and somebody in Congress, John Thune, had used the blender and not told me. So I'm washing it out, and I can hear John Fetterman taking a shower upstairs. He's singing a Chainsmokers song off key, and I let out this like, this heaving sigh to like let out my emotions, you know? And then RFK, who doesn't officially live in my house, but will wander in if the door is open, and he's standing there, he's working one of those grip strength things, and he's wearing jorts, and he's like, Kirsten, why are you so sensitive? And I'm like, okay, household meeting right now, crisscross applesauce, everybody in Congress, right here, right here. And then the doorbell rang, and Kenneth Mejia came, and he brought me coffee and a Katie Porter whiteboard, and I wrote on the top of it, why am I so sensitive? And below that I wrote, because men are the greatest threat to my safety and the safety of this country. And then, you know what happened? All the congressmen just threw up their hands, like, what do you want from us, Kirsten? And then they started threatening to take away my First Amendment rights. And I was like, wait, listen. In this household, I need you to be accountable. I want earnest collaboration with the men and the women and the people in this house. I want the government to marvel at how many ways myself and others are trying to reach out to you. Adam and Mitch and Mike and Eric and Susan and John and Donald and now. I think you figured out that this is an extended metaphor. But it really does feel like a dysregulated government has taken over this place that is my home. We are here, you are here, you all in countless ways, on the daily, in big and small ways, you take care of this country. And it is painful to watch people who live in this country with us try to take it down from the inside. And although there are some folks that aren't putting in their fair share of household work, this country is still our house. And if you, like me, feel like this government stuff gets into your actual home, feels like it gets into your actual mental health, you must remember, I must remember always that this is ours. It's our internal and literal houses to enjoy, which means we gotta clean it up. Because yes, we are having to clean up these messes even as more messes are being made. But community is messy. Living in this big house called America is messy. But all the conflicting ideals and needs and dreams and everyone living together, that is what makes us work. The robustness of our differences, people that don't even believe in us, the robustness of all of that creates vitality. It's like our house is like an ecosystem, you know? It's almost like, what's an ecosystem? Like a swamp? But I don't want to drain a swamp. A swamp is a natural occurring thing. It's saturated soil dominated by trees and water-tolerant vegetation and filled with creatures. If you drain a swamp, if you take the things inside of an ecosystem that make it different, that is when it becomes disgusting. Okay? We're not disgusting. We're just like vibrant and beautiful. So I will keep cleaning up the messes in this house with you. And we're gonna all figure out together how to run this household in a way that provides liberation for all of us. And it is a privilege living in this house with you and cleaning this mess up with you. Thank you.
Kirsten, amazing. Thank you as always. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our former mayor who sponsored groundbreaking legislation to ban the sale of Saturday night specials in West Hollywood, helped declare West Hollywood the first pro-choice city in the nation, a longtime advocate for women and girls, and a longtime advocate for health care for all. She brings a wealth of experience. She is also one of the organizers of Roar Resistance in West Hollywood. Please join me in welcoming our former mayor, Abby Land.
All right, I am joining your housekeeping team for sure. We're gonna get out our brooms and our make a difference.
That's right.
I want to thank each and every one of you for being here, but I want you all to just take a moment to thank the people that helped organize this. Our council member Lauren Meister, her sister Debbie Meister, our mayor John Heilman, West Hollywood Indivisible, and the city staff that weren't here as city staff. Thank you all for all that you have done. So we have 10 weeks to the California primary. We have 31 weeks till we can finally take back our democracy. 31 weeks till November. 31 weeks for us to be taking action. Because you know what, as you've heard from our speakers, it is up to us. We have to take the action. We have to do what's needed, or we will not win. And not winning is not an option, because we are so close to having that person become the king that we do not want in this country. So for 31 weeks, each and every one of us must figure out what you are going to do. Now, as John said, in 2017, when this person took over the White House, we were all outraged, and many groups sprouted up, including Indivisible, including many groups, and Roar Resistance. Myself, my friend Michael Ferrer, and a few of us said, we cannot be silent. We cannot be silent. And we want to roar against what is happening. And henceforth, Roar Resistance. Woo! Any one of you can start something to make a difference. Our Roar Resistance is kind of an indivisible group, but we have members, because of COVID, people moved. But they did not lose their activism. They did not lose their desire to make a difference. And so on the second Sunday of every month, we virtually meet and we talk about the issues and we talk about what actions can we take to ensure that we get back the House and we get back the Senate, and in 2028, we get back that presidency. Where is my friend Karen Ayers? Karen Ayers is here. Karen, every meeting she tells us what's going on and what we can do. Whether it's picking up a phone, a cell phone, whether it's texting, whether it's marching, whether it's going to an event to support one of the candidates that'll either turn a seat blue or keep a seat blue. She's our wealth of information, and she can tell you how to get more involved with Roar Resistance. What I want to leave each and every one of you with is to recognize when we work together, we make the difference. We are winning. We are winning seats. Someone just won in Florida, next to where that guy lives. Just know we can do it. We have done it before. We got him out once before. We have to get him out again. But the other thing we have to do is we can never, ever take our democracy for granted. We have to fight for it all the time. So yes, it might seem like, oh my God, is there never a rest? And as former council member John Duran said, every generation we've had to fight, but this is the one. Honestly, this is the one. If we do not fight now, the next generation will not know the America that we know. They will not know how great America is because of its diversity. They will not know how wonderful this country is because we work together and we share values and we believe in democracy. We believe we the people for all the people. So every day, 31 weeks, pick your thing, decide what you're going to do, and then do it. Don't sit out. Do it. We can win. We can make a difference, and we can claim this country and our democracy back. Thank you all very much for being here.
Thank you, Abby Land. Now I'm excited to introduce Susan Grayson Stone, who is here today to tell you about a new, much-needed grassroots resistance group that has risen right here in our city, Indivisible West Hollywood. In her day job, Susan is a successful organizational consultant and advisor who helps leadership teams build the capability to deliver on their strategy. If there's one thing we need to fight the Trump administration, it's strategy. I'm glad Susan's on our team. Please welcome Susan Grayson Stone.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you all. Do that again. Hi, everybody. How many of you are familiar with the Indivisible organization? It's a pretty good size of the crowd. Okay, for those of you who are uninitiated, Indivisible is a nationwide volunteer grassroots organization that has together been fighting for democracy since 2016. We are a newly formed chapter, West Hollywood Indivisible, and we just started in January. We have 4 mighty people on our leadership team who worked with the city to do this, and I want you to give them a round of applause because they volunteered a tremendous amount of time, passed out some water for you guys, etc. So if you agree with all of the speakers here today, and you want to get involved on a local level, please sign up with West Hollywood, West Hollywood Indivisible. There are people in neon vests that are walking around with clipboards. Since we're a newly formed organization, and this was our first big event, we're now going to sort of put our heads down and figure out exactly what our priorities are going into the election, both for local initiatives, statewide initiatives, and of course, when appropriate, national initiatives. And so please join us. It's a fun group. You'll meet lots of people, and it'll give you a platform to get involved and actually drive change and make a difference and have influence in the community that you live. So, West Hollywood Indivisible, please sign up. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, West Hollywood Indivisible. Well, Mayor, we're coming to a close of the speaking part of our program. We are so excited that you all came here today to, I want to say celebrate King's Day, but you know, it doesn't feel like it's a celebration, but it is solidarity, right? And we're here, we're going to fight, we're not going to let them take away our democracy. And I'm going to hand this over to the mayor. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Meister. Thank you, Debbie Meister, for organizing us. Before we close, I want to acknowledge we have one other special guest here. He was the first openly gay elected council member in New York City. He was the first person in the country elected with HIV. He later became a state senator in New York. He was the champion of non-discrimination in New York State and fighting for marriage equality. My friend Tom Duane is here with us, all the way from New York. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for being part of the resistance. And I look forward to celebrating with you in November when we take back our country. Thank you.
All right, we have a little music for you right now, so please hang out. Sun Canyon Band. Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Bye.
Soldiers are cutting us down. Should have been done long ago.